Modi ora inga whānau. Hope everyone's having a pleasant day. Hasn't been too bad here in Wanganui today. Light breeze and a bit of sun. Been making the most of daylight savings. Anyway, I'll get to the point. A few months ago, I was at my place and I did a routine where I took a couple of breaths and went round and around my table and I head-butted the door a couple of times. And it was sort of taken the wrong way. It looked like I was sort of mentally unstable or on some fucking datura or mushrooms or something. And I thought long and hard about this. I wasn't going to do this video, but I sort of wanted to set the record straight. Yes, I do have a mental illness. Yes, I do take medication. But the first thing I'd like to clarify is I wasn't on drugs or things like that at the time, but it racked up a few views. It racked up about 2,000 plus views very quickly. And probably a lot of people out there who don't even know me looking at it thinking, who the fuck's this idiot? But the reason I was going to do this video just was to set the record straight. The first thing I'd like to say is I am definitely no machine of a fighter. There's plenty of jokers out there who can roll me, and that's the honest truth. But I guess sometimes in life, you know, not so bad in your home patch, but if you're walking through the streets of Manhattan or back streets of Bangalore, you know, there's some violent motherfuckers out there, and sometimes you've got to do the damage in an awkward situation. I mean, I'll always walk away from a confrontational situation. I'm a non-violent chap. I'll try and talk my way out of it. But sometimes you just got to switch and do the damage because that's his life. And as I say, I'm no fighting machine. I'm just a fucking sheriff from Rahi. But I sort of thought about doing this video and I thought, no, I want to set the record straight. Okay, a bit of background. 2003, I spent a month at my Lord and Master's ashram in South India, Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba. And of course, Swami is a peaceful, loving individual. But I mean, Swami is a realist as well. You know, as I say, sometimes in life you've got to defend yourself. And what I want to talk about today is, firstly, is strike syllables. Okay, a strike syllable is basically what the sound you make when you're making a strike, either with your fist or with your knees or with your feet. You know, even shearing the sheep, actually, you know, a lot of guys, Larry Lewis, I think, was one, you know, when he was shearing, you know, he would put in a with each blow. You might see a boxer boxing, or, you know, whatever they, you know, taking a guess a lot of the time. But there is actually a science behind strike syllables. Like, and each individual fighting art, most of the good ones anyway, will have a strike syllable. Like, for example, the Kyokushinkai karate strike syllable is kya, K-Y-A. The Aikido strike syllable is ah, ah. The Shaolin Iron Palm strike syllable is ke, as in Keriti, ke. What's another one? Shaolin Palm, ke. Yeah, so each different martial arts style, the good ones, you know, will have a strike syllable. Now, the strike syllable is not to be some posy move that you want to look like a fucking ninja. Or that's also, the ninjutsu syllable is t, tip of the tongue, t, for quick movement. And like, for example, if I was to try and do a quick movement from this position, and I wanted to use the strike syllables, I'll use t to set, and then I'll use ke, the iron palm syllable, for the strike. Now, to give you an example, so I'm sitting here. So that's the science behind it, and they're practical and they can be used in everyday life. Like, for example, chopping the kindling, chopping firewood, set with the tip of the tongue t, the ninjutsu syllable, lower the axe with the iron palm syllable, which is ke, the chopping kindling, axe in the right hand, chop the kindling. So as I say, people might think it's a bit posy or a bit unnecessary, but when you've got it down, you can use them in everyday life. You can use them in a self-defense situation, and they are actually practical. Now, a lot of people may think that strike syllables and the process of, or the understanding of chi, as it's called in martial arts, originated from the Shaolin monasteries in the 1400s, but that's not true. The existence of prana and prana generating routines, especially in a yoga context, was actually in existence in India at least 16,000 years ago, and can be detailed in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is in Sanskrit on palm leaves from 16,000 years ago in India. So when the first Buddhas or Bodhisattvas came from India, trying to spread their teaching down through the Shaolin monasteries, they gave the Shaolin monks this knowledge of prana, which in the monasteries they call chi. And it wasn't really initially for self-defense. It was actually because the monks were sitting around meditating all day, following the Buddha's teaching, but they were growing fat guts and they were extremely unfit. So the Buddhas gave out these sort of like physical moves and strike syllables so that their body could keep up with their mind. So that's the context of it. So I mean, I'll do a little bit here to give you an example. The other thing too is the use of strike syllables. I mean, to any target, whether it's a human being or a block of wood or whatever, it's not a golf swing. I'd liken it to how Bruce Lee used to do the 1-inch punch. So your strike syllable, when you've got it down and you set yourself with a ninjutsu syllable, which is tip of the tongue, and then the strike syllable, which is the iron palm strike syllable, ke, you only want to go 2 or 3 mil past the point of impact. It's not a golf swing. And each different strike syllable generates chi or prana from within the body out through the muscles, and it's the prana or the chi that's doing the damage when done correctly. Like for example, if I go ke, the ke strike syllable, the prana originates here in the third eye center. As I go ke, if it's done properly, as I go ke, the prana travels down through my throat, out the shoulder, and then out the square on my fist. And then, you know, knocking either the block of wood or the offender or whatever. If I use a kai shunkai karate strike syllable, kya, kya, not as effective in my opinion, but the kya is generated from the solar plexus, so I might go kya. And as I go kya, kya, the chi comes up from the top of my solar plexus, it goes through the muscles of my right arm and it comes out my muscles. If I go using the aikido syllable, same, the syllable tends to come from the throat, but aikido is ideal for like balance, like It was said in the old time with the aikido masters, they could trap a bird or a sparrow in the palm of their hand because their sense of balance was so good that as the bird would try and kick its wings to fly away, they'd compensate and go with their hand, and the bird was stuck in their hand. It was also said that the aikido masters could earth themselves to the ground so well that 10 or 15 men couldn't push them over. But for my personal purse, I tend to concentrate on the ninjutsu syllable for quick movement and the iron palm strike syllable, which is ke, as in keriti. Now, a warning here, and just in case you're going to try this at home, which maybe not, but if I go ke as my strike syllable, it must be exactly right. If I go ke, the chi comes from my third eye center, out my shoulder, and out the knuckles of my fist. But if I get it slightly wrong, say I went K or ku or ka, I break my knuckles and I possibly break my arm. So it's got to be exactly right. Same with the ninjutsu syllable for quick movement. Tip of the tongue, t. Not ta or to or ti, t. Right? So what I'm going to do now is, and as I say, like, there's probably a few people out there thinking, oh, who the fuck's Keriti think he is? Big ego, blah, blah, blah. And yes, I do have an ego, but I'm mainly doing this video to set the record straight. I can tell you right now, I'm not on any drugs right now. I've taken my medication, I'm stable, and as I say, I've thought long and hard about this, but sometimes things aren't as they seem, you know, and the fucking rumour mill goes, oh, look at that crazy fella, he's butting the wall. So I'm just going to give you an example of the ninjutsu syllable to set, and the iron palm syllable to do the strike. I'll just get this phone set in the right position. Oh, excuse me, bad back. Right, so what I'm going to do now up against my door of my lounge is, I'm going to use the iron palm syllable to set with the tip of the tongue, and I'm going to strike with the ninjutsu syllable with the tip of my tongue. Then I'm going to use the iron palm syllable for the strike, and I'm only wanting to go 2 mil maximum past the point of impact. So what I'll do now is I'll see how quick I could do 10 headbutts to the door and 1 elbow strike to the door. I haven't got a watch on me, but I'll try and do it in under 10 seconds. So this is what I'm after, using the ninjutsu syllable, iron palm strike syllable, ke, 10 headbutts to this door and 1 elbow strike. Okay, see if I can do it in under 10 seconds. Yeah, so as I say, I'm really just setting the record straight. I'm not here to be a poser and be a wanker. I'm just trying to set the record straight. I mean, you know, I'm not a machine. Plenty of jokers can roll me, but things aren't always that they seem. I wasn't fucking crazy when I did it last time, and I'm actually not crazy now. So I don't know, hopefully someone might find this interesting. Mauri ora inga whānau. Hope everyone has a pleasant day. Kia peace.